Hello, I'm Mohammed Kamaldeen of Ibadur Rahman Academy. I'm happy to be on Education 360 Teacher Tales for the World Teachers Day celebration. The decision to become a teacher originally wasn't part of the plan because the year I completed senior high school, I completed with two other sons of my father. So we were three then. And my father, who was jobless then and struggling with finances, he convinced us that we should go to the training college because after completion, we'll be posted and then you'll be paid. And if you are paid and you have your own money, you can make your own decision. If you want to go back to the university and read a different course, you are allowed to do that. So I took that decision, and then after some few years of being in the service, I never regretted the decision though, and I'm still in it. My inspiration to become a teacher is going into the teaching field. I thought teaching was one of the easiest job one could go into. But when I started the actual teaching, I realized it was an entirely different thing. Because I used to think that it was just a field where you go and then deliver what you have to students and then you walk away. And I went in and I realized it was an entirely different thing. So my teaching philosophy also is that I think with teaching, you have to focus on the students. Your key focus should be the students. So you go and then you make the teaching seem centered on the student. Because with the student, if he delivers or if he tries to come out with understanding of whatever concept you are teaching, it means you have achieved your objective or goal. Then you are good to move on. But where you go and then the child or the student is unable to grab the concept, for that one I think you cannot proceed further until you try to make the student fully understand whatever concept you are teaching. I once entered a class, and in the course of the delivery, I made a mistake and the student copied that. And later in the day, going through my notes, and I realized I've made a mistake. The next day I came to the same class trying to make the correction with the student. In the course of the correction, the student told me that they saw the mistake, but they thought because I'm the teacher, I cannot make a mistake. So this changed my philosophy about the whole teaching, that it shouldn't again be focused on the teacher, but the target should be the students, and students should determine how the pace of the instruction should flow. And again, they should be centered on, and their understanding should move the lesson. Without they understanding whatever I'm teaching, it means lesson cannot flow again. Lesson will be halted. So my approach to difficult situation with students is it begins from day one when we meet as a teacher and then students. I try my possible best to set out some rules. That rule will see to the governing of the work of the class. So before a student misbehaves, that student might have been familiar with the ground rules. So whatever you do, there is an implication to that. And with this, if you set out these rules and then try to go by them, I think students will be always cautious in their conduct, yeah, in the classroom. So I see myself as a facilitator in my classroom and trying to also foster a sense of community amongst the students. And what I do is I always give them group work. And in this grouping, it's ability grouping. I try to mix those who consider themselves to be performing low. I merge them with those who think they are on top of their games. They work together, and I try again to bring out the gender, if female and male. I try to mix them, and then I will ensure that these groupings work together, and then at the end of the day they come out with excellent ideas that as individuals they wouldn't have been able to bring out. In a situation where I went above and beyond for a student, there was a Sunday that I was at home and I had a phone call, and I received a call and I was informed to come to a police station nearby. So I went there, and there was a student that I know, and he gave my number out for the police officer to call. So I asked of maybe the reason why he was there. Yeah, the police explained to me that they went for a soup at a place and they had him as part of the drug people that they went and captured. So I asked of the necessary process towards securing his bail, and I successfully went through the process and got him out, and I took him home and didn't even meet the family to talk about it. On Monday we met at school, and then I invited him to the office and discussed the issue with him, and he told me that he was not into drugs, but a friend sent him there. And unfortunately that day the friend escaped, but he was captured. And I used that opportunity to advise him on the dangers involved to go into drugs. And this story, or this student encounter, has also impacted me a lot, because through his encounter I understood that some of our students are equally into drugs, and he discovered or disclosed their names to me, and I used that as a way out to invite those students before the counselors of the school, and they advised them, and I think we are making a headway here. And since then, especially with the students, I've keenly followed him and realized that, as he said, truly he is not into drugs, but it was just a coincidence that those police people arrested him. So I think some key characteristics that every good teacher should have is a good teacher should be empathic, and he should be tolerant. He should have mastery over his subject area. He should be creative, and he should be a role model. And again, a good teacher should as well be a leader. He should be someone who always sets out boundaries for students to work on. The challenge I faced as a teacher is when I took my first appointment. I was sent to the Brahafo, where typically they speak Bono language, and I was sent to the basic school. So, and at the basic school too, you cannot teach without the use of their L1. Once you are using the students L1, their understanding of your lesson would be much easier and faster. And I went there as a northerner, and I didn't understand their language, and I need to just expose myself to the community in order to get the language so quickly. So I try to just make myself available to the community and coach myself with the language, and go back and meet my students and impact on them. So that is the challenge, and how I overcame it was by exposing myself to the community and trying to learn from them so quickly, and it really helped a lot. I try to read a lot in order to stay updated. I read a lot, and I attend in-service training as well. And there is usually one thing that I use a lot. There is this peer teaching that we do in our school year. I try as much as possible. We have senior colleagues, and at least we have peers as well. Sometimes we take out 2 or 3 topics within a semester. We all meet as colleagues and peers, and then we teach to the understanding of one another. And again, I try to consult teachers who teach my subject area. Though in different schools, I try to consult